Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Ian.
And welcome to our home in Charleston, South Carolina. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm a full-time firefighter.
And I'm Shelby. I'm a small business owner and content creator, and welcome to our home. We were living in an apartment complex, and we wanted to start the home buying process. I was actually doing the whole Zillow search, just looking at all the homes around, and this listing popped up, and I was unsure of the listing at first. It's a new build neighborhood. So the neighborhood didn't exist. So I was looking at pictures of renderings, I think, and I was like, I don't know. And I kind of put it aside. And then I saw the listing come up again. So I sent it to Ian because he knows this area well. And I was like, should we go check this out? I can't tell if it looks like it's an actual listing. And our realtor, we sent it to our realtor. He got us set up with a meeting. The following Monday, I think this was a weekend, we came over here. Neighborhood didn't exist. We went to a little trailer with the salespeople.
The nicest salespeople.
The nicest salespeople. And we were talking about the new neighborhood. They were telling us about the new builds and everything. And I mean, it just clicked. We scurried over there, looked at the model home I thought we were gonna like, and then ended up looking at the model home next to it, absolutely fell in love. Drove back here so fast. We were like...
We burned rubber getting there.
We were just so excited. There was no neighborhood to see. There was no homes to see. We just loved the area back here, and we saw the vision, and we went for it.
Building this house has been a journey.
Yeah.
Every day is exciting. I'm yet to find a project, no matter how difficult it is, that I haven't enjoyed. The bookcase being one of them. That was the second project we did, and I really enjoyed building that. It was a learning lesson, I think. Lots of lessons were learned, ready for the next one. But I'm just ready for the next thing.
Yeah, the whole process was cool. So I call this style cottage garden, whimsical.
Grandmacore.
Grandmacore a little bit. So we definitely wanted to we added a lot of plants in here, greens, earthy tones, different patterns and textures to really, it was a blank slate. It was a new build. We really just wanted to add, whether it's curtains with the textures and patterns with the rugs, a lot of floral aspects. I love to add little thrifted items of, little butterfly things you'll see around the house. And yeah, just different cottage garden grandmacore.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Grandmacore nails it. Oh, in the cutest way possible.
In the cutest way.
It's definitely not what I saw for my future at all, but the second we started building it, I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It feels like a home.
Yeah. Welcome to our entryway. So this is the part of the home you walk right into when someone first arrives. When we moved in, there was nothing here. It was completely white, nothing on the walls, and I sort of had the vision of this beadboard situation that we did over here. So one of our very first home projects was the beadboard. I knew I wanted a place we could hang our items, car keys, bags, everything. And like I said, it was completely blank in here. So I had to find all the pictures and everything. And I wanted it to be a place where someone walks into the home and it's just kind of exploding with character. So it's the first thing that people see. So yeah, this was your first.
Yes, my very first one. I
project.
had no tools or nothing, no experience, but we figured it out. Just went and bought some beadboard from Lowe's, a little brad nailer and some trim boards, and then bought these, I think on Amazon, right? Installed those and immediately made the entryway bursting with character, yeah. I think, right? Just doing that and then added the wallpaper later on and then slowly pieced the pictures together, which was nice. Kind of a hodgepodge thing, but I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah, we wanted a lot of warmth in the home as well. We love the earthy tones. So we went with the color here for the beadboard, which is the same color we have on the doors and the trim in this room, even on the trim around the front door as well. And I think, yeah, you didn't have all the tools yet for this. So I think some of this we had to get cut at Lowe's because when it was our first project, we came from an apartment, so we didn't have all the tools to start building things. We slowly accumulated those.
I have to buy tools.
Yeah. I think we bought a new tool with every project as we started to increase the projects around the house. And then, so a lot of the artwork up here is either I got from small businesses around Charleston. A lot of times I will just go onto Etsy and get downloadable prints. So those are also from small businesses. And you just can print them on some nice paper and get some cheap frames or thrift frames, I think is also a great idea. This frame was actually my grandma's here. And then these are actually real butterflies all up in here. And some of them I actually mounted myself into the shadow boxes. Some of the butterflies I got from other small businesses. And then this one, the monarch right over here, I actually found on a walk when we lived at the old apartment. And unfortunately it was passed away on the ground. So I picked it up and took it home and, you know, laid it out and kind of put it in the shadow box here. I think I have the date and everything on the back that I found the monarch. But I really love butterflies and it's kind of nice to see them preserved like this up here. But yeah.
Yeah, so also this one up here, I think it was this one, maybe it was this one, it doesn't matter, I think it was that one. It's a sister picture, I bought two of them and I gave the other one to my best buddy. And he has it in his entryway in his house, which is a little special thing between me and him. So.
Oh, they put it in the entryway,
yeah,
that's
me and
cool.
Andrew. So.
Yeah, those are fun. This is supposed to be, it's just all butterflies and fruits and just fits the garden theme that we like around here. One of our more recent projects was the wallpaper that you see in here. Again, I wanted earthy tones, so we went with the hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas, and I think this wallpaper really just brought this entire entryway together. And it went really nice with the paint that we already had in the entryway. And then this mirror here was actually Ian's grandma's. So we do try and, we have a lot of pieces from family members around the house, and this mirror is just, it's a gorgeous piece that we love sitting here right in the entryway.
It's heavily used, I think.
Yeah. So this is the half bath that comes off the entryway. Tiny bathroom, so we were sort of unsure of what to do here. We did paint it, this is our favorite brown color that we painted the bathroom. It gives it sort of a cozy feel. And then I actually made all of this artwork here with, I love crafting, love hobbies, DIY. So I took my sticker books, printed some paper, and actually put all the stickers together on the paper. And I think they just look really whimsical, add to that garden aesthetic that we like to keep constant throughout the home. So even in small spaces like the bathroom that you may think, oh, what should I do with this? You know, guests come in here a lot. So you might as well, you know, make it cute and add to the theme of your home. So we're gonna head into our dining room over here. This comes right off the entryway. Again, the guests, if someone's in our home, this is one of the first areas that they see. And we wanted it to have sort of a cafe feel, which really helped having, you know, with the textured tablecloths and the cafe curtains back here, not quite restaurant feel, just like a morning bakery. So it's cozy, comfy. You can enjoy a cup of coffee back here. Ian's mom always sits back here on the bench and drinks her coffee in the morning when she's visiting. So when we first moved in here, we had the dining room table from our apartment, and I was like, perfect, we already have a table. We put it in this space, it looked like a desk. I didn't, you know, going from a small apartment to a larger home, we definitely needed to upgrade that, and we actually ended up inheriting this table from Ian's great uncle. So his great aunt actually put some of this fabric that's on the chairs and everything, and the table has a leaf in the center, so it was just the perfect size for this space. And I did add a tablecloth on here because I really just love having different textures, patterns. We have the stripes on the cafe curtains with the florals on the tablecloths, and stripes and checkers on the pillows and gingham, and I just love combining the different patterns. So there's a lot for the eye to look at in your home. And then I just sort of keep it set with napkins and whatnot, but it's also a place where if I want to, when I'm working from home, it's usually in the kitchen, but I can also sit over here.
So when we were designing this space and we were thinking about the space, we knew we wanted to do some kind of bench seating in here. So when we ended up getting the table that was a bit bigger than the original one, we knew we kind of wanted to go almost wall to wall with it. So a couple trips to Lowe's later, I ended up building this bench seating. Just a couple $100 worth of materials and some more tools. And we ended up having almost wall-to-wall seating here. The nice thing about doing it custom was that when you lift the pad up, there is a handle and some nice hinges, and you can open it up and keep stuff in there. What's in there right now, I couldn't tell you. Probably drill bits that I've been looking for months now, but it's just a nice little thing that we have in here.
So I love adding artwork to the walls, as you may have noticed in the home, but especially in corners that you don't really think to add artwork. It really just creates an entire space for people to look at and enjoy. As far as this artwork over here, it really fits in with the garden aesthetic again. I think all of our artwork either has plants, pollinators, fruit, you know, all different types of things in it.
Little animals.
This one here is actually a frog. I do like my amphibians. I thought that would be cute to have over in the dining room. And then these two here, we were actually out to dinner with some friends downtown. And I think we saw them from the outside of the shop. It was a small shop downtown Charleston. And we saw them in there. And I think you actually spotted them because at this point, Ian was like, oh, I know what she likes.
I was bought in.
So he runs and he's like, you need to see this artwork. So we ended up buying both of them, and they're kind of fabric artwork underneath, so it's not printed on paper, it's actually printed on fabric that's in there. And we bought those, had to put them in a big bag. All our friends are already at dinner, and they're like, where did they go? Because I think we just...
Yeah, I think we caught some eye rolls in that one.
Yeah, they were like calling us like we're at dinner, and we were just running down the street with this artwork in our arms, and we had to bring it to dinner, we had to bring it to dessert after, and then just carrying it around with us when it was supposed to just be a night out.
When it's right, it's right.
When it's right, it's right. Look, I mean, the beetles, the strawberries, it finishes the corner over here. So one of my favorite finds in the house was this rug that we have in the dining room. Again, with the florals and bringing in different patterns with everything else that we have in this room. I think it just really put together the space. And you'll actually see some of our other rugs are all floral inspired as well. So it kind of matches throughout the home, but it's one of my favorite pieces. Now we're gonna head into our kitchen. So welcome to my favorite space in the home, probably where I spend 80% of my time in the house is right here in the kitchen. When we were designing the home, this was our #1 priority. It was so important to us just for having guests over, being able to host people. I love to bake, and so when we were designing, we really wanted to think in terms of how will the kitchen work that's easier for us, and how will guests be able to enjoy the kitchen as well. So one of the first things we did, and this was Ian's idea, so I cannot take credit for this, the island, when you're building a new build, there's a few sizes for the island. There is the regular size for the island, and then you can increase the size. Ian was adamant about making this island longer.
Max it out.
And I didn't think it was necessary. I was like, oh, we already have the beautiful island. It'll be great as it is. And Ian's like, we're having a longer island. I am so happy we did that. I talk about it all the time. It was the best idea he had because we fully use this space. It allowed us to have trash cans that are in drawers on this side, the dishwasher here, a full farm sink, plenty of space for me to bake over here and for guests to still be able to sit and enjoy if we want to put out appetizers or anything.
My favorite thing about the island is when I come in with all the grocery bags in one trip, I can put them all down on the island and there's none on the floor.
Yeah, you don't realize how much space you use in a home. Even it's just the two of us living here and obviously the dogs, but you don't actually realize having all this space, even for dishes after you wash them, to have space on the other side to keep them there. It's just little things. And then we did do the full farm sink right here. We absolutely love the farm sink. I think it makes it easier doing dishes and all of that kind of stuff. So when we were picking out all the cabinets for the kitchen, I didn't want them to all be white. I like to bring in the warmth in the home. I love mixing woods and with the countertop color and everything. So I did plan to have wood cabinets for the island, and then I wanted these cabinets to be green. So we were originally going to start with having them white, and then we would have painted them all green because the design company didn't have the green that would have gone up over here. And then as we were going along, I realized you could see our full living room and kitchen all at the same time. We have a gorgeous green couch in the living room, and all of a sudden I was like, all right, I like green. That's a little too much green. So we ended up going with the wood cabinets to match the wood that's over here on the island, and I love it. I think we had ideas of maybe painting these in the future, and at this point, definitely don't want to paint them. We love how this wood turned out. We love it with the backsplash that we chose. So this is probably one of my other favorite corners in the kitchen. We actually opted out. There should be cabinets here and there should be a cabinet here. When we went to build the home, I knew I wanted some floating shelves in the kitchen just to display my glassware that's part of my business and some plants. And then we also knew I wanted a beverage fridge, and it was a little risky because, you know, they were like, sure, you can remove the cabinets, but then you can't get them back after that. And I was like, you know what? I have a vision. Take the cabinets off. Don't do them. So when we moved in, this was blank. We didn't have them build these shelves yet. And then the beverage fridge wasn't here yet. We had to find one to make sure it fit this spot. And luckily, it all worked out because it was a little nerve-wracking to walk into the home and to not have the cabinets up on either side of the fridge that typically would have been there. We found these beautiful shelves here. My dad actually hung these up here, and the beverage fridge fits perfectly in there. It's nice to keep all the beverages out of the fridge, just helps with space in the house. And then this is sort of our beverage station. So you can make coffee and tea over here. I like to display, this is all the glassware from my business that I sell in my online shop. So I love to have that displayed in our kitchen. I mean, I think it's some of the only glassware we use. It's all in our cabinets as well. So this spot over here was a little bit of a strange spot in the kitchen. You can't fit a cabinet here. You can't really fit a chair here. It was just blank, and I decided to turn it into a dog corner. So this is where they eat their breakfast. The bed fit here. I love these plant hangers. You actually fit them right into the stairwell. They're great if you have a patio or stairs like this and you want to hang plants, and they actually sit right into this little mechanism. I found all different dachshund artwork, so it really just fits with the themes of both of our dachshunds, and it's just kind of, you know, I don't like any blank corners, so it just fills in the space over here. So with this home, there was a space behind the kitchen here. They called it the butler's pantry. You had an option to put cabinets and countertops in here. We opted out of that. So this room was completely empty. Leads into our pantry over here, and then you can head outside to our garage on the other side. And I just figured it'd be a great place to have some more storage. Found this beautiful piece of furniture to keep plates in, serving platters and whatnot, and have to put a lamp in here. I think it helps to have some warm lighting back here as well, especially since it's set back from the kitchen. And then we have, this is my KitchenAid mixer from my grandma, and then my mom had it, and now I have it. So I use this probably almost 3 times a week because I love to bake. And my favorite cookbooks here, most of my recipes come from this cookbook, and it's just, add some artwork on the walls. It's just a great way to use, you know, fix up a blank space in the home. Painted it a warmer color because I think we have the white walls in the kitchen, and then the warmer color back here just really looks nice.
My favorite place in the house has got to be the connecting kitchen living room. It's just where my family usually is, and all the windows are usually open, lots of natural sunlight, my TV and my dogs. It's just where I come get cozy after work.
I think I want to say my favorite room is the living room, but it has to be the kitchen. The kitchen is where I actually work most of the time at the countertops. I love to bake and cook, and I take a lot of my content creating videos in the kitchen. We just spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and I just love being in there. A ton of sunlight comes into the kitchens. I'd say the kitchen.
All right, y'all, welcome to our living room. This is by far, I think, our most heavily used space. It's my personal favorite space. When we came in here and we saw the layout, we knew that this was going to be the spot that we would spend the majority of our time. Yeah, hang out, relax, have the TV on, just let our day go by.
So the green couch is definitely the statement piece that we wanted in the living room. So we started with the green couch and then got all the decor based around it. The rug, again, has, you know, the strawberries and flowers to have that really garden aesthetic, and I think it helped tie in the couch since this is a bold color over here. And we did get a couch that's movable. So if we're having a really cozy day, we can turn this couch into almost like a large sort of bed. All the pieces come together, and then you get the duvet cover down here, put a movie on. We have all the twinkle lights back here and over here, and it just has the perfect vibes to relax, calm down from the day, or just spend a whole Saturday on the couch.
That's my favorite format.
Yeah, that's some of our favorite things too, I think, is really
cozy.
just having a couch that you can move around and spend time in this room. And then this room also, all white walls. When we built this house, we painted all the walls a warmer white. I did choose the white for the walls that I wanted because it's easy to build onto the white. So wallpaper, paint, all of that. But this was a blank slate in this room except for the fireplace. I think that was the only thing that was already built in. So we decided, I am an avid reader, and I knew I wanted one of those floor to ceiling bookcases, and I mentioned the idea to Ian, and he jumped right to YouTube and built these beautiful bookcases behind us.
Yeah, there were some demo runs first though. So before we did the bookcase, that's when we built the bench seating out there, because I needed to do something with woodworking before I attempted to do a full built-in bookcase. But I mean, as far as the bookcase goes, I kind of cheated. We went to IKEA and we bought 5 Billy bookcases with the extensions, which was nice. And the only hang up with that was it was prefabbed. So you needed to use a special kind of primer on there. I think it was a shellac. I think that's the way you say it.
So you can paint them.
So just took them all out of the boxes and did all that priming work, then assembled them, brought them all up in here, and then kind of started just looking at how I wanted to go about this. To build it, all I did was get some lumber from Lowe's, built a frame on the bottom, leveled it out, squared it all up, and then just installed them. Once they were up and equally spaced, I just trimmed out the front, threw a little crown molding up top, and that was a job complete. I love the way it came out. Now down the line a little bit, after woodworking for some time now, I wish I could do it again. But as far as the bookcase goes, I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out, and get a lot of compliments on it. So.
Yeah, I think they look magnificent. It was a huge project. He did it in 4 days. In terms of filling it up with books, we did not have enough books to fill up these bookshelves yet. So we did actually make these top ones taller, and that was so I could fit artwork back there. And I think instead of hanging artwork on the wall, which is what I had before the bookshelves, I can keep some artwork in those taller shelves. And then I put the books that I had in here. I'm still collecting books. And then a lot of my puzzles and everything are in here mixed with some decor. So it is a mix of hobbies. I think my coloring books are back there, some of your books that you read, and plants as well, because I think the plants just add a nice touch, cozy touch to the home.
To all of the men, boyfriends, husbands, whoever's listening, if anybody or any of your friends tell you not to match up the seams so they don't stick out on a bookcase that you're building, don't listen to them. I didn't do that, and it's all I ever look at now. So, word to the wise, match them up.
We learned a lot with this project.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do live in Charleston, South Carolina. It's a very hot part of the country. So unfortunately, this fireplace does not see as much action as we would have originally hoped. In the winter months, we'll come in here, we'll throw a nice Christmas movie on, something like that. And because it's a gas-powered range, on a flick of a switch, we have fire. The only other thing I think is we match the paint color of our bookcase to our mantelpiece. And it just kind of brings the whole room together, having 2 of the same colors on different parts of the room.
Breaks up all the white walls.
Yeah, it does break it up a little bit. Additionally, the mantle is used mostly just for putting pictures on top of it. Other than that, I mean, plants, really.
Yeah, we could have had the TV up here. We actually, when we built the house, made sure they had a TV plug on each wall because we had no idea where we were going to put the TV. And luckily, we had it on each wall, so we could choose which wall we wanted to. Yeah. But I guess we could have put a TV here too. But the way the layout is, it's just perfect for all the pictures.
It does make sense, right?
Mm-hmm. So this is my cozy hobby corner of the house. I love this corner because I can actually see my garden right out here. And then I have my puzzle table here. So I can sit here, put my headphones on, listen to an audiobook, do my puzzle. The TV's not in front of me. I'm not scrolling on my phone. I have a comfy blanket over here. Even the dogs will come get on my lap. And it's just a really nice corner. I can open the window for a fresh breeze. So if you have an unused corner in your house, I do highly recommend making a cute little hobby corner. I can knit in this corner if I want to, and you know, if Ian's playing video games on the couch, and then this is kind of my space over here. I also highly recommend a puzzle table. This works great, so you don't have to put a puzzle out and then clean it up and have it take space on the countertops. But yeah, I put little artwork over here. I love just adding any artwork to an empty corner. Okay, let's take you guys outside to the backyard so you can see our garden, another favorite space in our home. Welcome to our outdoor oasis. This is probably, I think I've said this is my favorite spot in the entire house, but this is actually my favorite spot. So when we first built the house, it was, just a blank backyard that they put grass down in. And we actually had them extend this cement patio that's right here. Because we knew we wanted to have a couch and a seating area over here, and then we just knew we wanted a garden in the back. So I think we started with the couch, a rug, a fireplace, and just having this seating area. And then we really expanded the garden over almost 2 years living here. I think a garden takes a while to really get going and establish. So there's new plants we do every year, but
Every season, the garden and the yard seems to grow just a little bit and just change slightly.
So our garden actually is a certified wildlife habitat. You can go online and you can get your backyard certified, and there's a few different things to make sure that you're providing food and places for the pollinators to live and thrive back here, as well as planting native plants, which I can show you guys when we go back into the garden a little bit. But that's something that's super important to me, is just helping out the ecosystem and bringing in the butterflies and the caterpillars and having host plants for them back here. And it's not just a backyard for us to enjoy, it's for us and the wildlife to enjoy. Even though we have the fence, we don't have deer coming back here or anything like that, but we do have baby birds and lots of bumblebees and beautiful monarchs back here, and I like to help them thrive.
Lots of little amphibians too.
Yes,
lots of little lizards.
lots of
We have lots of
lizards.
baby lizards running around right now,
Yep.
and our house is usually covered in little tiny green tree frogs.
Yeah. So it's important to have a space for them as well. Okay, so back here, these are our raised beds, and when we first moved in, we started with just one raised bed, and we actually built out the entire back part of the backyard. So this was all grass over here, pulled up the grass, mulched it, and I do keep all my perennial plants in the back, and we do all of our annuals and vegetables in these raised beds. I think we have some big plans for out here. We're gonna just keep expanding this garden as much as we can, but for a year and a half living here, this is as far as we've gotten. It is July in Charleston right now, so my spring garden is on the tail end right now. I've actually already planted pumpkins, so we're planning for the fall garden right now, but we still have some tomatoes popping up. And like I said, this is a certified wildlife habitat, so back in here we have a ton of native plants. They're native to the southeast region, and they just help provide pollen and everything for the pollinators. And with native plants, you don't have to take care of them as well as you might with the ornamentals, like the roses and hydrangeas and whatnot. Okay, so back here, like I was saying, are a lot of my native plants. These are all native. There's a great nursery here in Charleston called Roots and Shoots. They have all native plants that you can buy. And these guys here, my sunflowers actually got planted by the squirrels or the birds. They dropped these seeds. I actually didn't plant them, and they are now super tall. So that was fun. But these are all perennials back here. So basically, these are just gonna keep growing year after year, and I don't need to replant all of these, which is great that you don't have to, especially when you're planting in your soil in your backyard. It's good to put your perennials where they're just gonna keep growing year after year. I have all the different rose bushes here. And like I said, these are my native obedient plants, swamp sunflowers, black-eyed Susans, some creeping phlox, and just stuff that's going to keep growing and expanding and spreading their seeds, so actually have even more plants back here without me having to actually plant them. So, and then even these black-eyed Susans, I actually picked up from Cypress Gardens here in Charleston, South Carolina. They were selling, I think, just a little black-eyed Susan plant for $5. And I just bought it, planted it back here, and it's already grown to be this big. So that's what's great about native plants. They can grow and be really prosperous. This is the master bedroom. This room is pretty large. It actually spans right above the living room here, and it came with this tray ceiling in here, which I think is really nice touch to the room. The favorite part I have about this room though is the 3 windows that are over here. It completely looks over our backyard. I can see the garden out there and all the trees you can see, and it just feels like we're sort of in our own oasis in this room. I think it's really the trees that help with that. And then as terms of decorating in here, I think this room is still a work in progress, but we definitely wanted to have a bed that is low to the ground, and we bought this for our dogs.
Yep.
Definitely bought this for the dachshunds. If anyone owns dachshunds, they understand. We have ramps in the house and this beautiful bed frame. We loved it, and it's perfect for them to be able to get on and off the bed. And then up here, Ian built this beautiful shelf back in our first apartment. That's probably one of your very first projects.
That's probably number one, yeah.
Just a plank of wood from Lowe's that we stained. And yeah, so we just have the hanging plants and some artwork up here, and it's just a great way, a nice space for us to wind down, watch some TV, and just a cozy little spot.
It is definitely a work in progress. The more recent things that we've done in here is we installed a different ceiling fan, which has been a game changer. Before, we used to just have little tower fans on both sides of the bed, which was nice, but now we can get rid of those, and we just went with the ceiling fan. Additionally, we did sconces on the wall, which is just a really nice soft lighting when we're in bed reading. Those were the latest things that we've done, but we have a couple things coming up. I think the next thing would be to paint the space.
Yeah, add more artwork.
Yeah, we'll probably we'll warm it up a little bit. Maybe with the brown that we use downstairs, I'm not sure.
It's our favorite one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the bathroom that connects to our master bedroom. So it is nice that, the floor plan we picked out had the master bedroom, bathroom, and a huge closet all connected together. So it almost feels like our own little space in this room. So then if guests are staying, they can stay in their guest room, and then, we're not all sharing bathrooms or anything. The main thing we picked out in here is we did a tub shower combo, which we really like the combination of having both of those instead of combining the tub and the shower together. And then with the glass walls, it's also, I just think it looks nice for the bathroom. We went with the warmer wood cabinets over here, again, just to have contrast of the greens, and we did do green tile in the bathroom as well. It actually, I think, was called architectural gray. And I remember I really wanted green tile in the bathroom, and the ladies at the design center, they're like, oh, wait, we have a tile that looks green even though it's gray. So I added some green rugs and the towels, and it really brought out the green that's in the tile as well. Welcome to my office. Honestly, at this point, I should call it my hobby craft room, because most of my work I actually do at the kitchen counter. But this is my space for sewing, for drawing. I can just come up here and really, especially if I'm doing a huge sewing project, I can really spread out in this space. A lot of the artwork back here is actually the designs I've drawn for my glassware, just so I can see them all in one spot with the color palettes. I have a bunch of my older designs up here for the glassware, and then my sister made this for me. It's so cute. And then I have my sewing machine over here. One of my favorite things is sewing. I made this dress that I'm wearing today. And a recent project was this bag as well. And then I'm currently working on a puff quilt. So that's what these are all for. But this space was just something where I could have more of the pinks and pastel colors compared to the earthy tones that you see downstairs in the house, because I think this is just sort of my creative space, and I can close the door and just hang out in here. And then I have my little crafting closet over here where I keep everything. So I did sort of split this room up into, I wanted it to be able, I can use each space in the room. I think if you're a crafter or, especially with sewing, you understand there's the cutting part, there's the sewing part, there's a lot of different pieces. So this area over here, I can kind of use for setting up fabric. And then this middle part is where I actually cut most of my fabric, or I cut it on the ground, depends how large the piece is. And then this area over here is where I actually sew. There is a corner in front of me that I do all the ironing for sewing, and I have a little pegboard that holds up sort of the thread and different things. But it took a while to kind of figure out the best way to set it up, because you really just need so much space when you're crafting. And I think this works great, having it sort of in stations here. So now we're gonna head right here through our little secret passageway, our Jack and Jill bathroom, and we are gonna go into Ian's studio.
Hey guys, this is my studio. It's my little oasis that I have in my house that is an oasis. It's kind of where I condense all of my things. So back in 2019, I used to be a music producer and a DJ. I've now given that up, but I can't give up my equipment. So sometimes when I have a little bit of free time, I'll come in here and I'll mess around with my equipment. Over here I have Ableton set up. It's kind of where I would make my music back when I would do that regularly. For the most part, when I come in here. It's usually just to play a little Xbox or play with my Switch or something, just kind of shut off and decompress from my work days. So other than my music stuff in my studio, I have a little mini fridge. In there I keep my liquid courage and some protein drinks. Because sometimes when I cut off work, I shower, and I just come right in here and decompress for an hour or something like that before I start my free time. Next to that, I have my DJ equipment from back when I used to do that. They rarely see use these days, but every now and again they'll get kicked on and utilized. And then next to that, I just have some medals from back when I was a young tyke. I used to competitively snowboard, so I like to show those things off from time to time. But for the most part, the studio is just used for video games and just to shut out the light and just relax after work for a little bit.
It is the place we can come together as a couple and just feel like the outside doesn't exist. We are just so comfortable in our home. It's a piece of us. I mean, just from all the things we've put in here, whether we have pieces from our family that we brought into this home, just, we get cozy in the living room and watch movies and put all the twinkle lights on and be with our dogs, and we can eat dinner in the living room if we want to. We don't have to do that in the kitchen, and I think it's our space, and that's really special.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's my safe space as well. It's where I come to relax. I work really hard, and when I come home, I want to be able to relax and just be comfortable in my own house, and I have everything I need here. So that especially, my little man.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.